What's in the stars and the cards ahead for you this week? Welcome, welcome. The theme this week is choosing grounded to truth over emotional noise. I'm giggling, tongue twister there, because it really can feel like too much energy sometimes as an empath, absorbing and just picking up on everybody else's thoughts and emotions. So, we're going to talk about ways that you can navigate this week because this is a week where clarity grows through boundaries, being able to know where your energy ends and someone else's begins. The energy of the week is building. I call it waxing because we're working from new moon energy of last week into the first quarter moon, working towards a beautiful energy that it's encouraging you not to overthink, not to force, but to feel that momentum and to step into the flow of it. So for empaths, the medicine this week, so to speak, is discernment. What's yours to carry and what's not. And I want to share some great little tips with you as we look at the moon and as we dive in. So as you hop on, say hello, let me know who's watching, where you are, and what's going on for you. Is this a holiday week for you where you are in the world? Okay, so hello, Julie. Great to have you. I want to invite you to just tune into your heart and even place your hand over your heart center. And what that does is it brings your awareness into your energy field, your personal bubble space, so that you can start to tune in and begin that discernment practice. And I want to invite you with your hand on your heart to just set the tone for this week, which is simply asking yourself, are you responding from intuition? Or are you reacting to the emotional? Oh gosh, I can't even speak this morning. Holy cannoli. Okay, so when this happens, quick energy tip, go ahead and bring your fingertips together. All right, because my energy is running a little bit backwards probably. You're going to bring fingertips together. And as you do this is called Hakini Mudra, and it helps you focus and it helps you to be really present in space. And you might notice that during a lot of meetings or when people are talking, they'll naturally bring their hands to this position. Now you can keep your hands here, or you can even bring your thumbs to the third eye area and gently press in and up. And what this does is it helps bring you back to center. And you're getting to see energy in action. I've been doing a lot this morning, running around, a lot on my mind. It's a holiday week for me. I'm thinking about the lasagna that I'm going to make for my family. I'm going to go the Italian route this holiday instead of my Irish roots and making the tiramisu and all this stuff and timing and people coming in and when to go to church and when to get the last minute presents. And oh my gosh, it is crazy, right? There's a lot of noise. So by doing this and taking a few deep breaths, what you're enabling yourself to do is to come back to center. And you can start to see even how my energy shifts. And as an empath, you might be sensitive to some of these energetic shifts that I'm making. I know when I have friends or I've had teachers in the past say, let me show you what I'm doing. And they just stand there. You're like, okay, well, when are you going to show me? What they're doing is they're showing me energetically, and I can feel it if I tune in using my intuitive senses. And that's what I love to do here as we gather live and we play and we can interact. Hello, hello. Good to see all of you. All right. So let's get back to this week, and I'll keep sharing tips as we go. And if you have tips too, definitely drop them in the comments, share them with the community. It's so, so helpful. So let's get back to the powerful question that this week is bringing up, which is, are you responding from intuition? And you can have your hand on your heart. Doesn't that feel so much better? Can you feel that energetic shift just from doing the simple yogic hand gesture, Hakini Mudra? It helps you focus. And ask, am I responding from my intuitive gut instincts? Or am I reacting to the emotional noise that isn't even mine? So a sense of urgency or fear, or what other people have expectations or opinions about. As an empath or a highly sensitive person or somebody who's just very intuitive, we're living in a world that's really increasingly dismissing our sensitivity, saying, oh, you're taking it too personally. Don't be so sensitive. Why are you taking everything to heart? Many times it's seen as a weakness, but the world needs that compassion. It needs that love. And many times as empaths, we're tuned in to these extra senses, and it enables us to navigate life on a whole new level. And this week's energy is inviting you to slow down, get honest with yourself, and choose what's real, not what's the loudest. Make time to be able to hear your intuitive guidance. So if you've been feeling overstimulated, emotionally foggy, not sure what to trust, this week is here to help you recalibrate. So we're going to dive into that. And am I into ESP? Yeah, emotionally sensitive perception. Yeah, ESP, intuition. It's us being able, I call inklings, to trust those intuitive nudges and hints and to be able to take guidance on them, because I feel that that's our angels and guides speaking to us and helping us out, that this is a life where we're not meant to move through it alone. Not only do we have our human friends, but we have our friends in high places, our angels and guides helping us fulfill our life dreams. And the way that we stay in contact through them, or even our loved ones, is through that extrasensory perception, most definitely. And Julie, you're doing lasagna too. That's awesome. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Hello, Junaid. Wonderful. Great to have all of you. I love being able to say hello. So definitely keep engaging and say hello. Okay, so let's talk about just a card to tune into. I love utilizing many different intuitive guidance tools and techniques to help sharpen our language. And I've got some more tips coming because there was something I wanted to share, Selena. Okay, so when you're here, place your hand on your heart, and I'm going to just ask, what's the most important message that you need to hear for this week ahead? And we just tune into everyone's energy who's watching live and who tunes into the replay. We ask, what's the most important thing that you need to know? The star. Have hope. Stay connected to hope. Sometimes we can limit ourselves in what we think is possible just from life experience or from what we've been told. But this card is really symbolizing those moments when you look up in a dark night sky and you can see that the stars go on forever. And there's no way that you could possibly count them all. There's just too many in the heavens above. So this is saying, you know what? There's more things, in heaven and earth than we could have dreamt of. Was that Horatio, Shakespeare? So take the time to dream big. Listen to your intuitive guidance. It's a highly intuitive card. And let's go back to that intuitive tip. How do you know it's intuition? How can you hear that guidance? It needs to pass through 3 gates. The first one is intuitive guidance is quiet. It speaks in a quiet voice. That's why it's important to start to discern what's distracting us as an empath and pulling us away from our center, what's creating a lot of noise and making it hard to trust guidance. Well, we have to develop that relationship. And that's what I teach my energy alchemist. I have a whole program helping you develop your intuition, or you could say ESP. And when you start to discern, oh, this is my intuition, these are my angels, these are my guides, this isn't just a worry or a fear. It comes in a quiet voice. Usually if it's worry or fear or someone else's energy trying to get you to do something, it's loud, it's pushy. Guidance won't be like that. Intuition won't be like that. The second thing is that it's love-based, meaning it's not going to try to get you to act out of fear, even if it's a fearful moment or something's going on that you should be kind of worried about. The guidance is going to come through in a way of just kind of like, oh, hey, why don't you just check this out? Let's come over here, check your email, take a moment to sip your coffee. And then your eye or your heart will be guided to what needs your attention. And you might then at that point feel your adrenaline pick up, but your angels aren't going to try to scare you into action. They're going to give you loving guidance. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is that it's a consistent message. It doesn't change. So it's not going to say, oh, go to the grocery store. Oh, wait, no, go on vacation. Oh, wait, no, watch a movie. It's going to be consistent. It might be said in a lot of different ways to get your attention, but it's consistent and it comes more than once. Most definitely. Hi, Brawlsy. I'm hoping I'm saying, yeah, Selena, extrasensory perception. Exactly. I think I said something else initially. and guidance. It reaches its hand out and allows free will to do the rest. That's beautiful, Turple Nurple. The thing about, when we're tuning in to that higher guidance or higher self, we're connecting with God universe, is that it is a dance of co-creation, and that we've been given the incredible gift of free will, that it's not just all fated and destined. We'll have those moments, and then you with your free will get to choose how you wish to engage. And that's where a lot of the empowerment comes in and a lot of the adventure. It's kind of like, what are you going to do with this beautiful opportunity or gift? You can choose to move forward. You can choose to say no. You can just choose to ignore it. So let's just kind of talk about the overarching energy of this week. It's really to help us as empaths with emotional discernment. Again, where does our energy end and other people's begin? And a nice way to do that is with the root flesh fill. And if you haven't picked that up from me yet, irenamiller.co/get calm. And if you go to that site, I have a 2-minute guided practice to help you with discernment, really, because we ground. And as you ground, you release everybody else's energy out of your space that isn't serving your highest. And you fill up with this beautiful golden light of energetic neutrality. It's really these beautiful healing streams of grace. And hello, Hannah. Great to have you with us live. So this week is a reminder that we don't have to absorb everybody else's emotions, feelings, thoughts. It's a week where we can develop our intuitive gifts or our sensitivity without ending up exhausted or burned out, knowing that when we are grounded, we are creating healthy energetic boundaries, and that allows us to turn these intuitive hits, these things we're picking up on, into wisdom that we can take action on. It's just not data overwhelming us. So as the moon, and I love utilizing the moon as an intuitive and an empath, because the moon sets our daily rhythm. And just as a side note, we were all born with the moon in one zodiac sign, and that really is representative of how we manage stress, how we like to live our daily life, what we do, just to kind of get into the rhythm of living out our life on a soul level. And the moon in and of itself changes every single day. And every 2.5 days, she moves through different zodiac signs. And even though our moon will always remain the same, so to speak, our soul blueprint, our natal promise, the moon herself keeps moving. And we interact with that. And it affects our energy levels, how we're engaging with stress. It also can really help us hone our intuitive abilities, because there are some days where you might really feel outgoing and on, and other days where there might be fogginess or a sense of wanting to just kind of rest and hide from the world. And when you know that there's a way to kind of tune into those daily rhythms, you can plan out ahead. So again, this gives us ability as an empath or a highly sensitive person or an intuitive to say, oh, okay, there are going to be some days that I know, because I've been tracking how I feel when the moon is in, let's say, Capricorn, or the moon is in Pisces, or the moon is in Aquarius. This is how I feel. And these are the days that are really good for me to work on, organizing, or just I need to rest and I can't do work. It gives you permission not to beat yourself up, because there is a rhythm and a cycle to everything. And if we tune into nature, it's reflected back to us and we work with those rhythms. It makes incredible joy for our life. At least I've found that. Let me know how you experience that. And Turple, you said you have spinal fusion and energies are a bit extreme. How can you filter that? Okay, let's talk about that. Yeah, the ebb and flow. Beautiful. So with that, when you think about when the energies feel very extreme, take a few deep breaths and bring your awareness into your heart space. You're going to imagine a beautiful golden column of light that comes from the center of the heavens, down through the crown of your head, through the throat, the heart, the upper belly, down, good, through the lower belly. So it's just between heart and upper belly, a little bit of a block there. I'm saying hello to that. So relax the diaphragm, the muscle that sits on top of the stomach, and take a deep belly breath. Because when we're absorbing other people's emotions and feelings, we tend to hold our breath a lot and we brace for impact. And it actually, when those emotions and feelings come in, they can rock us even more. They can feel more extreme. Think about it like if we're receiving a shot, they say, oh, breathe and relax, don't tense because it'll hurt more if you hold your breath, like they tried to teach us in the old days, at least when I was little. Now you're saying breathe, relax the muscle. It won't hurt if you do that, or it won't hurt in the same way. So nice deep belly breaths to relax and release the diaphragm. Because the other thing, and I'm going a little bit deeper into the how do I want to say, the theory, is that space, really, it's the heart chakra, is the bridge between the physical energy centers and the spiritual. And sometimes the physical is so intense, and as empaths and intuitives, we want to check out. It's like the physical world is so overstimulating. It's so intense. It's like I'm just going to get caught in a daydream. I'm going to work on the spiritual, try to transcend the physical. You worked really hard to get here and to have this body. So enjoy the wonderful aspects of being a human. And that's unlocking sometimes that barrier that is placed between the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra, the heart energy center and the upper belly. There we go. And it takes time. It's, in its own timing. And this is what I go into with my one-on-one clients and also my students, like in the Energy Alchemist program, which is a little more in depth. So I'm going to just say hello to that. And down this beautiful column of light moves through lower belly, through pelvic floor, between the legs to the very center of the earth itself. And I'm going very fast. You can always go slower. This is called the root flesh fill. Imagine you have arms that are 10 to 12 feet in length, and you reach your arms out in front of you, beside you, above you, beneath you. So you're expanding your auric field. So auric fields can get to be, on average 8 to 12 feet. Although I'm always open to learning more, and we might even expand that more at certain times in our evolution and process. And anything that's in your space that isn't serving your highest, flush it down to the earth to be recycled into something of great beauty. And then fill up with a beautiful golden wave of light just coming from the center of the heavens, a galactic star. Maybe have a sip of water. So I call that the root flesh fill. And if you go to irenamiller.co/get calm, it's a 2-minute guided practice there that you can listen to over and over, come back again, and work on that. What that's going to do is it's like going to the gym to build your muscles. You're building your energetic muscles to get you stronger, and then you won't feel things as extreme. Going outside is a great thing too. Hand on a tree, asking the tree's permission, like, can you help me just ground? Because when we're grounded, we don't absorb the energetic output of other people quite as easily. Beautiful. Okay, and thank you for all the hearts. And triple nurple, that's exactly where you feel it. Okay, great. So, that helps, so it's fun. I want to just be able to say, when you guys join in live, I can also pick up on the energy that's swirling around, and it's nice. So thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate that. And yeah, and skating for life, I like that handle. It can make you sad, right? And that's the thing, is that as an empath, many times we do go into sadness, or I don't know, maybe you don't. I know I can go into sadness quite easily because I can pick up on things so frequently. And it's an interesting adventure. So that's why I share these practices with you. They've helped me. I use them day in, day out. They're time tested. I've been doing this for 3 decades actively, but definitely empathic since birth. And yes, I'm only 20. No, just kidding. All right. And you said if you're ever, oh goodness. So the thing about asking the trees for permission when you ground is you're just realizing that the trees, especially when you start to study, there's a gal, oh my gosh, and I won't remember the name. I just got her book. Anyway, I'll come back to it, but it's amazing when you start learning about the trees and the way they watch out for each other and the way that they speak, so to speak, they carry the stories and they work together. Another topic for another time. But before I get too far off track, let's talk about the rest of this week, because the moon is building towards an energy that's encouraging us to make a refinement, to make a choice or a decision. It's kind of like making a small little tweak. With a new moon, like we had last week, the idea is you plant ideas and inspiration with that new moon energy, things you want to grow. And then as the moon is building towards full, you're working on that idea. little bit at a time. And the first quarter moon is a time, it's a decision point where we've gathered enough information where we have to refine a little something. It's not a dramatic change, it's just making a slight shift so that what you're working towards and pursuing aligns with your soul, and it enables you to feel free and steady. And hey, by the way, if we haven't met yet, if you're new around here, my name's Irena. I'm an astrologer and a spiritual life guide for empaths and intuitive souls. And my goal, my joy is to help you work with the moon so that you can protect your energy, trust yourself, your intuitive hits and guidance, and live with more ease. So if this is something that you like to learn about, then, and if it resonates, definitely like, subscribe, comment below how you feel that you've picked up energy as an intuitive, or whether you like working with the moon or not. And then please do share this with someone who also could benefit from it. And I thank you so much, because it definitely helps get the word out and it helps the channel grow. And I'm so grateful that you are here. And yes, triple nipple, trees transfer nutrients from one another through the roots to help each other, most definitely through the mycelium, that beautiful fungal network. And there are amazing stories on it. I want to say the author and the beautiful woman who really brought that to her attention, is it Christine or Suzanne Simard? And I think her book is The Mother Tree. But she's done incredible work talking about how it's so important to have the forests, like these old growth forests are very diverse. And even when we try to replant, in the past, what had really been done was the planting of the same tree species. And you need that diversity for the forest to really thrive. But anyway, I digress. I do love trees so very much. Okay, let's talk about the overarching energy of this week. Continuing with that, remember it's a building energy. So there's momentum that is building. It's not a finishing week. It's not a week of kind of turning in. Yes, we want to slow down just enough so we can hear intuitive guidance so we don't get swept up with a false urgency, but it's a gentle momentum. We're being guided towards a point where we can have clarity in decision making, discover what needs that slight adjusting, and it's an energy not to stress you out, but to help you course correct. So think of it as a spiritual check-in rather than a test. So let's talk about Monday. Monday's energy, and we are currently in a void moon, of course, which is interesting, right? Because the void moon, of course, is just a moment where the moon isn't talking to any other planets. And she's here from 9:43 a.m. Eastern. So we just went into it. I think that's when I really was losing my wording. And the moon's going to be void, of course, until 10:52 a.m. Eastern. You can adjust for your time zone. But the point of knowing when the moon is void, of course, is that it's a time we should be reflecting, journaling, maybe wrapping things up, doing admin work, maybe cleaning, meditating, journaling. It's a spiritual kind of resting time, but sometimes we still have to work. Just don't do anything brand new, because we're kind of in an in-between, very liminal place. So to make the most of this energy, when the moon is in Capricorn, which is saying be grounded, this energy supports structure and maturity, responsibility. It's a good day to ask, what does your energy need today? And if you do one thing that grounds you, like the root flush fill, fantastic. Or maybe you tidy up a space, maybe you make a list, you put together your plan, or you simply just listen to the messages that you're receiving intuitively. The body can really share a lot with us. We get these intuitive hits through the physical. And I'm going to ask, how can you make the most of Monday's energy? We'll see who's popping up first. It's about balance, so justice. It's about being honest with yourself and knowing that your actions create an effect. And really, with the Justice card, what I see is that, it's similar to the Seven of Swords, where it's like you can't cheat yourself. If you are trying to cut the corners and you're trying to rush through something, the Justice card says, it's not going to benefit you. It's not going to be a boon. So be true to yourself today. And be really honest about what your energy needs, not to be like, oh, I'll just drink another cup of coffee and I'll get less sleep and I'll be able to make it through. Start to realize, I've been studying more and more about sleep because I don't like to sleep. And somebody was saying, your sleep hygiene starts the moment you wake up and the choices you make throughout the day, like when you exercise or when you drink your caffeine or, what you do before bed. But it's not just those moments before bed. So, having that honest look and saying, okay, wow, all right, maybe caffeine really does affect me and I'm not really paying attention to it. The Justice card is here to remind us. Okay, Tuesday. Tuesday, it's an Aquarius moon. An Aquarius moon is inviting us to have perspective. And to do that, she encourages us to detach from the drama and the emotion. It's an invitation to zoom out and not be overwhelmed by the emotion that's attached to the story. I really like the Aquarius moon because it's innovative. It helps us see things differently, to think outside the box, to come up with different, different solutions for problem solving. So give yourself a moment to observe without absorbing. And I'm going to just ask, on your behalf, as we pull a card, what would you notice with Tuesday's Aquarius moon if you didn't personalize it? So what might come to your attention? Ace of Pentacles reversed. So these are the hidden gifts. This Ace of Pentacles, whether it's upside down or right side up, is about gifts coming your way. And it's a physical gift, usually monetary. And how often are gifts extended that we maybe feel like we can't say yes to out of pride, or just because we're so busy, we're not even seeing that it's being offered. Where are the gifts being offered to you that you might be blocking your ability to receive them? And it could either be through attitude or just being overly stretched, super busy, running around, or just trying to do it all on your own. And, and I really feel like that's the key, because it can be so stimulating as an empath, so much data and information and emotions coming in. It's easy to say, I just have to block everything out. I have to block. But we're also blocking out our friends in high places, our angels and guides. So Tuesday's Aquarius moon is saying, okay, let's get out of the emotional fray. You can do the root flush fill. I still have it up on the screen at irenamiller.co or .co/get calm. You can go there and listen to that. Do a practice like that because it's going to enable you to zoom out to have the bigger perspective so that you might be able to see the gifts that have been all around you and you just haven't been able to say yes to. Okay, Wednesday, we start off with the moon in Aquarius before it moves into Pisces. And this is a transition time. It's a moment of sensitivity. You can think of it as a threshold day. So early on in the morning, emotions may feel unsettled, maybe even a little unpredictable, especially as you, that unpredictability as you move into the afternoon. This isn't a time to push. It's a time to really tune in to the intuitive guidance. Pisces is very intuitive. And as you move towards the evening hours, you're going to feel the energy softening a little bit. Because we also have a long void of course moon on Wednesday from 4:41 p.m. until 8:08 p.m. Eastern, and again, adjust for your time zone. It's a time again for quiet, for introspective energy. So if you're getting together with family, if that's Christmas Eve for you, just know from about 4:30 p.m. until like 8 p.m., it's going to be a time of the in-between. Don't try to start brand new conversations or do anything big. If you're having a special dinner, try to get the important things done ahead of time as far as preparation goes, and just enjoy connection. Choose rest if you can. Listen to music, connect with the energy of water, and maybe take a bubble bath, or maybe just enjoy a nice big glass of water. Or tune in and ask your angels to be with you. Maybe it's a retrospective time, a very quiet time where if this is a holiday, if this is a sacred time that resonates with your heart, you contemplate what was going on all those many moons ago. All right, let's pull a card. Wednesday. How can you make the most of Wednesday's energy? Let's see what pops up. Four of Wands. So stability, having that stability and that connection with other people, coming together, celebrating. It's a time to really feel steadiness, groundedness beneath you because it's a four. You think of the four legs of a table or a chair. Having that steadiness beneath you makes a difference. Thursday, the moon is in Pisces, so highly intuitive, highly compassionate, big feelings. That's why the grounding is so important, that root flush fill. Great day for spiritual practices. Great day for journaling, meditating, creative flow. And again, if this is a sacred holiday and time for you, connect with that energy. Many different ways that we celebrate light coming back into this world. Take time and contemplation. Know where your energy begins and where others ends, or vice versa. And instead of closing our heart as an empath, creating walls, choose to move from empathy, which is more of an absorbing of everybody's feelings and all the data, into compassion. In compassion, we're grounded, we have strong energetic boundaries, but we can still love and we can still care and we can still make a difference. And you can ask yourself, as you're engaging and you're contemplating, do the things you're doing nourish you or drain you? And you can do that with people or events or work. And just ask, how can you make the most of that energy? 6 of Cups, reflection. Going back and reflecting how far you've come, where you're going, maybe reminiscing of the past. I think of like Old Lang Syne. When I see this card, we're reflect on the year that just happened, what's coming in the future. And by doing that, the past informs the future and it enables you to prepare. So Friday, moon is still in Pisces. And so there's this emotional integration. We're still flowing with that Piscean energy. Listen to the intuition, that intuitive guidance. You might feel a little tender or nostalgic, and that's normal. Allow your feelings to move without feeling like you need to explain them to everyone else. And if you can keep your schedule a little lighter on Friday, all the better. Take time to rest. Rest really enables you to move forward with greater ease. All right, how to make the most of Friday's energy. 3 of Cups. So 3 of Cups is community. So as you're taking that time to rest, you remember that you're not alone in this journey, that there are other people out there like you who understand and get what it's like to be empathic and intuitive and highly sensitive. When we come together, we share our stories. And when we share our stories, it's very powerful to have our stories witnessed and heard by another and even reflected back, because we see parts of ourselves that we may not have seen before. Saturday's energy, so that's still Pisces moon and it's first quarter. And that first quarter moon is just where we make the decisions. We refine things a little bit. We tweak them. It's a gentle adjustment, a moment of insight. And you might realize that something needs a little shifting. Maybe you start to realize, wow, I was really letting people just come into my space energetically. And I need to develop those strong boundaries so I can still be present. I can still listen with a beautiful, loving heart, but not take on their pain as if it were my own, or not lose myself in taking care of everyone else. So encourage you, make one small change that honors your energy on Saturday. And we have a card popping out, Knight of Cups, be kind. So Knight of Cups is about romance. It's about being sweet to yourself and not feeling like you need to force or push in this world. It's interesting because I'll hear phrases like nobody cares, work harder, or you got to develop a thick skin, or why do you take it so personally? Why are you so sensitive? And it's important to know that there's a place for those who do take it personally, who are sensitive. What is important is learning how to discern and navigate through that, because not everyone is empathic and absorbing things. Like they have that ability to say, oh, okay, that's someone else's story. That's someone else's emotion and feeling. But I really feel like as an empath, part of the reason we came into this world was to help make it a brighter and a better place. And if we see people in pain or hurting, there's a calling and a desire where I know I want to help. I want to try to help alleviate that pain and discomfort. And the old paradigm and way of doing that of empaths is they would absorb it. And it kind of like they would try to transmute it and then release it. But what's been discovered is then that takes away the karma from other people. And I'm pausing for a moment because I had an interesting conversation with someone many a moon ago. Nobody can walk our path for us. It might be nice to say, take this cup from me, take the karma from me, make it easier. But your soul is here to help, how do I want to say, to experience these moments to help grow. Why? Well, no one knows 100% sure for why, but we can maybe speculate that just like the little butterfly in the chrysalis who's trying to get out and she's pushing her wings against the chrysalis wall. And if you've heard me tell this story, I'm kind of giving you the highlight version. There's a little boy who sees the butterfly struggling, and his empathic heart just sinks like, oh no, she's having such a tough time. It's so hard. Let me take this struggle from her to make things easier for her. I want to make her happy. And he pulls away the walls of the chrysalis, and the little butterfly falls to the forest floor. And then he's heartbroken. He's like, why isn't she flying? And he scoops her up and runs to his mom. Why isn't she flying? And the mom said, oh, sweetheart, she needed that struggle to develop the muscles in her little wings or the strength to fly. So what if those big dreams you have in your heart require certain moments in time to strengthen aspects of yourself or to develop an awareness or another layer and level of compassion? Who knows? And maybe this is just, reasoning or trying to make tough situations better, but why not see the bright side? And why not tune in to our friends in high places and see the beauty in the moment? So I leave it at that. Sunday, Aries moon. That Aries moon, the energy is going to shift. It might even feel a little bit jarring. Pisces, very intuitive, flow with the go with the flow. Aries is take charge, just do it, act now, think later. I giggle because the Aries energy is one I'm learning more about, because as a Libra, it's my complement or it's my opposite. So it can be foreign to me sometimes. And that's the cool thing, is that the moon gives us a little taste of each of these signs each time. But you might finally feel, okay, now I can move forward. I feel the momentum, the energy shifting. And the Aries moon brings courage, a desire to move. Okay, enough sitting here. Enough daydreaming. Let me take action, not from pressure, but from alignment. So we're going to just ask how to make the most of Sunday's energy. 2 of Cups. There's a song coming into my head, but I can't quite capture it. But this is about partnership. This is about realizing you don't have to go it alone, but develop those relationships. And I'm giggling a little too, because again, in my Energy Alchemist program, which I'm going to be opening the doors again to that soon. So if you're curious to know more, keep your ears and eyes open. But I think about when we work with our angels or spirit guides or with God universe, it's like developing a relationship. We have to kind of work with that trust factor. Like, is this really guidance? Am I making this up? Am I picking up on this? Do I have angels? Do I have spirit guides? Like, what is this? And it's time. And it's practice, and it's asking a question, it's receiving an answer, and it's taking action on it and seeing what happens. It's an adventure, and I invite you to come on this adventure with me, because it makes life so wonderful, especially when we can do this together. So I want to invite you, as you go through this week, to kind of hold the question in your heart. Where are you ready to choose your grounded truth over the emotional noise, all of those distractions? And remember that being an empath or being sensitive is not a weakness. It's you really being able to pick up on the intuitive guidance and the feelings all around. It's just a matter of being able to distill it and hone it so that you can understand it and take action on it. So thank you for being here. So much joy to spend this time with all of you. Remember to trust your vibes and follow your heart. And I'll catch you all here next week, next Monday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Mwah. Much love. Happy holidays. And next week we'll wrap out the year. We'll get ready for the next year. Holy cannoli. It's a 10-year, which we'll talk about. 2026 adds to a 10 numerologically, and that's a lot of fun to play with. All right. Yes. Thanks, Julie. Yeah. Who you share it with. Mwah. Much love. Thanks all for being here. And thanks for dropping the hearts. Bye, guys.